So today we'll be talking about depreciation, and in this video we'll be covering the straight line method and the sum of the year's digits method. So what is depreciation? Depreciation is a decrease in value of a tangible asset over time due to use, wear and tear, and obsolescence. You might be wondering what a tangible asset is, and it's basically any physical asset that you can touch. And obsolescence is when an object is left alone for a long duration of time and has not been used since. So the first method we'll be looking at is straight line method. This is the easiest way of calculating depreciation over time, and for this method of calculation, the same amount of depreciation is deducted from the asset value each year. This is very important to note when you're calculating using this method. So let's move on to the formula. The formula states that the depreciation per year is equal to depreciable value divided by estimated useful value. And in the brackets, we see that depreciable value is pretty much the same thing as asset value minus residual value. And this is reinstated in the second bullet point. Now I'm going to be explaining some of the terms so you can understand it clearer. So what is asset value? Asset value is basically the price at which you purchase the asset at, and then we have the residual value, which is sometimes also called as the salvage value, the trade-in value, and the scrap value, and these all are the same. They talk about the money that you get back when you resell your asset at the end of its useful life. For example, I have a car, I've been using it for 5 years, it's no longer useful for me, so I plan to sell it, and when I do, I get some money for the scrap parts, or I get some money for the car itself, and this will be my residual value. So what is depreciable value? It's the amount of the asset price that actually depreciates. And then we have, last but not least, the estimated useful life, which again, as the name states, it's just the amount of years that you think that the asset is going to be useful for you. So I'm going to move on to the questions, and I have 2 of these here to help you understand. So the first one is, Lou's College bought an asset on January 1st for $26,000. It is expected to have $2,000 trade-in value at the end of its use in about 10 years. Using the straight line method, what is the adjustment for depreciation for this year? So let's take out some of the values here. So we know that the asset is bought for $26,000, so that will be our asset value. And we know the trade-in value, which is also the salvage value, as I said earlier, it's $2,000, and it's going to be useful for about 10 years. So this will be the estimated useful life. Let me write down the formula so you can get a quick recap. We know that the asset value is going to write val minus residual value divided by useful life is going to give us depreciation for 1 year. And then this can also be written as depreciable value divided by useful life. Okay. Let's now substitute the numbers inside. $26,000, which is the asset value, minus $2,000, which is the trade-in value, divided by 10 years of useful life. 26,000 minus 2,000 is going to give us $2,400. $24,000, my bad. Divided by 10 years of useful life. And this is going to cancel out to give us $2,400, which is the depreciation for 1 year. And since we know that in the straight line method, the depreciation for every year is going to be the same, so the adjustment for this year is also going to be $2,400. And adjustment in this case is the same as amount of depreciation for this year, so do not get confused. We have C as 2,400, so let's just circle that and then move on. So this is a slightly trickier question because it's kind of like a trick question. They're going to give you a value that you don't really need. So let's look at it. With a depreciable value of $27,000, which cost your father $30,000, calculate the depreciation of your company's van using the straight line method of 5 years of useful life. Here we have the depreciable value and we have the estimated useful life. So this is all we need for the formula, because depreciable value divided by useful life is going to give you depreciation per year. But they've given you the asset value. See, we know that the formula can also be written as asset value minus residual value divided by useful life. But in this case, we do not really have the residual value, and it's much easier to just use the depreciable value. So let's just use that. We're going to use $27,000 divided by useful life of 5, which is then going to give us $5,400. So that will be our answer C. And if you don't want to move on to the sum of the years digits method, you can always log off here. But if you do, we're going to start right now.